Welcome back to the second half of America's Retirement Headquarters, home of the Retirement Guys formula and America's Medicare Associates. 419-794-3030 is the number. 419-794-3030. If you missed the first half or missed previous editions of the show, don't worry. Available via podcast, whatever medium you prefer. Just go and search for America's Retirement Headquarters. It's right up there for you. Again, 419-794-3030 is the number. Welcome back to the second half. Now, Nolan, I know one of the areas that your company, that America's Retirement Headquarters, is very passionate about is helping veterans as a veteran-owned business. And I know that there are people out there, including myself, that love to support those who have served our country. So if you don't mind, could you tell us a little bit about what you learned during your time of service and how that can help an investor?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think a lot of people, if you've been following the show for a while, maybe you've heard my story, and this is maybe the first time watching. I grew up in Bryan, Ohio, and 2 days after graduation, I went and jumped on a bus with a good friend of mine named Pete, and Pete and I went and joined the United States Marine Corps, and I tell people that Paris Island sounded like a nice summer tropical vacation after high school. But it was a great time. I had a really good time in the service, and I think I learned a lot. I mean, I really learned about serving others, and a lot of the things that you see, I think, can be applied to life as an investor. Things like you have to be disciplined. It's the markets will challenge you, but you have to stick with your disciplines. Things like don't panic. You can get hurt if you panic. You can get hurt in the military if you panic. You can get hurt as an investor if you panic. You also need to have a plan B in case things aren't going the way that they always want to go. And sometimes, as we've learned in the military, sometimes you got to wait.
Yes.
So hurry up and wait
Hurry
is
up and
also
wait.
a common theme that we've seen a lot. So it's these are the principles that apply. We've got a lot of great things that we're going to be talking about and how it can be adapted to yourself as an investor. So again, stay disciplined, don't panic, have a plan B, and sometimes you got to wait.
And if you need help with that, America's Retirement Headquarters, Nolan Baker, the entire team, they're here for you. Just give a call to the number 419-794-3030. I know a couple of years ago you got involved with a local organization called HOOVES, and just a couple of minutes we're going to speak with Amanda Held from HOOVES. Longtime listeners will know. She's been on the show before. But if you don't mind, before we get into that, can you tell us a little bit about how and why you got involved?
Yeah, absolutely. Personally being a veteran and serving was a great way to learn about, again, service to others. A couple of years after I joined the Marine Corps, my brother ended up joining the Air Force, and Chris went into the Air Force, and a month before 9/11, he got stationed at the Pentagon. So we all know, of course, what happened after 9/11 with the Pentagon getting struck. Luckily, Chris didn't get hurt there at the Pentagon. He actually ran into the building and got a Commandant's Medal for rescuing and saving people. He put them in this personal vehicle and drove them to the hospital. But Chris had a lot of trauma, I think, from that event, had some trauma in life, and unfortunately had ended up making a decision that he ended up taking his own life. And unfortunately, I lost my brother to suicide. So I had found out about Hooves locally, and I had found out about Amanda and what the impact that they're doing. And I think it was through an introduction that I had through the Boy Scouts of America and some friends that knew about Hooves. And I just absolutely fell in love with Hooves. I'm now the board president and have been so for a while. And we've got some incredible things that are going on. So again, if you're a veteran or you know a veteran or anybody in active duty, you'll want to really stay tuned to today's show to talk about some of the life-changing things that we're doing for folks, right here in Northwest Ohio. And in fact, there are some great things that you can get involved with. So if you're watching us on Facebook, we'll put a link in below. One of the things that we're working on right now is the Save the 22. It's our gun raffle. We've got some really cool guns that we're going to be raffling off. M1 Garand from World War II is part of our collection. This is going to be taken down in a couple of weeks, and we're going to have it autographed by the Medal of Honor recipient, Staff Sergeant David Bellavia. So for as simple as a $22 donation to get you in the gun raffle, and you get an opportunity to win, one of many guns that will be given away. That's leading up to what is called our Ruck for the Fallen. So if you're looking for something fun to do to get outdoors over our Memorial Day weekend, we've also got our Ruck for the Fallen coming up out there at our farm at Hooves. And those are the reasons that I got involved. Now, again, I am joined by Amanda, who really created Hooves. And maybe if we jumped into that, Amanda, for people who haven't heard your story, maybe if you tell them a little bit about Hooves and why you started the organization.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me on the show. It's always an honor to be here, and thank you for all you have done for Hooves. It's been truly life-changing. But Hooves has really been created from my own personal story with struggling with PTSD. And so when I had my struggle, unfortunately, the clinical treatments didn't work for me, and I was deemed treatment resistant. And I was basically told that for the rest of my life, I'd have to be heavily medicated, and I would never have a quality of life, and I needed to just kind of accept the little quality of life that I had. But one thing they do teach us in the military is perseverance, and that really wasn't the answer that I was going to accept. So I decided to take myself outside of the clinical realm and look into my own personal self-healing. And I think for me, that was really the key, and it's one of the principles that we teach at Hooves is that nobody can heal you. You have to heal yourself. But what Hooves actually is the step-by-step blueprint that you can use to heal yourself. And I think that's why it works so well. So at a high level, our mission is enlisting rescued horses to help veterans transform post-traumatic stress into post-traumatic growth. And that's really, I think, the foundation of our organization as well, is we can't change what happened to you, but we can change how you perceive it. And we can help you connect it to a purpose that in turn helps you go back and serve others. And like Nolan had mentioned, a big part of what we do in the military is we serve. And then sometimes just having that taken away from us can create a huge void, which can lead us down a challenging path. So we hold non-clinical 4-day retreats out at our farm. We fly veterans in from all over the country. We help 70 veterans a year. And it's a unique process, like I mentioned, that has a curriculum that teaches self-healing. And then we also have the opportunity to interact with these beautiful, amazing horses. And the magic of horses is really that they are what we call non-predatory herd animals, right? So if you're a horse, your job in the wild is to blend in with the rest of your herd. If you're the one that stands out in any way, you're the one that becomes dinner for the wolf. So we enhance, or capitalize on the natural survival instincts of a horse, and we put the horses in a group with the veterans, and what they're gonna immediately start to do is mirror, through mirror neurons, they're gonna mirror the behaviors that they see inside of the people. So we like to say horses will reflect the life inside of the human. And what that does is it takes all the pressure off of the participants to look at themselves, and we can just focus on the horses. So tell me what the horses are doing, how are they responding, what do the horses need, how can we help them? And in doing that, we create a really safe space for each individual person to come up with their own self-healing strategy. And then on the last day of the retreat, we take all of the wisdom from the horse and the insights that they've learned, and we put it into a future plan. So we create a new mission and vision for life. And then after they come through the retreat, we mentor them for 1 year via Zoom meetings, and we have alumni mentors that help that process along. And once they get through 1 year of the program, they then can become a mentor and really create that ripple effect. So it's very powerful. I'm a humble steward of this work. It saved my life. It transformed my life. I have been medication and symptom free for 12 years now. So it's very powerful, and it does work. And I love it every time I get someone in that has been labeled treatment resistant, right? Because I don't believe that anybody's treatment resistant. I just believe that not everybody heals in the clinical way. So that's the gist.
So those stories are very touching to me. I didn't have the pleasure of serving. I always wanted to, and I never did. I became familiar with Hooves when Nolan took our team out and did a team building retreat. And I remember working with you, and it was amazing to me. It was probably one of the most touching experiences that I have had, where I really got in touch with myself. And I didn't necessarily have a whole lot of issues that I needed to work through, but I learned a lot about myself. So I can only imagine what happens with any of the veterans that you deal with, with the PTSD the Clydesdale. He was my buddy. I loved that. And my son actually had the opportunity to come out, and he said, "Dad," he talked to me first beforehand. He says, "Dad, I don't know what to do. I'm afraid of horses." I says, "Don't worry, you've got this." And when he came home, it was like eye-opening for him too. So I commend you for what you do. I do have one question though. So when you were going through, what the doctors were telling you that, how did you find this avenue versus some other avenue? I guess I'm curious as to know, how did you decide to go with the horses and hooves in that area?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've been a lifelong equestrian, and actually at the time that I had my deep struggle, I was running, I owned and operated a boarding and training facility. So my
Okay.
career was as a horse trainer, which I had quite a bit of success in, but the emotional side of things, I did not have success in. And really, we aren't a religious program, but really faith is at the foundation of everything that we do.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just kind of one of those things where I ended up in the hospital. I was, given this news, and I just kind of said a prayer, like, "God, I know that there's more for me. Can you please show me the way?"
Sure.
And I feel like from the moment I said that prayer, like doors just started to open and open and open.
Mm-hmm.
And so just a couple of days after that, I had been randomly invited to go to this 3-day healing retreat. And, I was very shut down at the time. I was quite a bit of a different person than I am today. But this 3-day transformational retreat totally changed my life and got me on a path that I was able to get more healing
Sure.
down the road. So,
Well, it's fantastic, and I'm telling you, continue doing what you're doing, because it's making a big difference out there for everybody that has the opportunity to come out and experience it.
thank you so much.
Yeah, it was great last year too. So last year we had 70 people that came out to our retreats. I think this year our goal is to try to be able to reach 90 people. I think some other interesting statistics that are out there is it's a little over 40% of the people that come to the retreat are actually females. This year we actually have a couple of retreats that are dedicated towards family members. And so there's just so many different ways to get involved. And I know you also do a good job keeping track of the statistics, such as some of the suicidal thoughts that they have, before coming to the event and then after the event. It's obviously one of those things that, I keep talking about. If I could go back in time, do things over again. But, if you look at my brother at the very end when he was really sick and shared that with me, and, I'd never dealt with suicide before, so I obviously have learned a lot since then. But, you're reading the high medications that the doctors give them, and when one of the side effects is may cause suicidal thoughts, it's extremely scary on what the clinical results can do. And again, there's nothing wrong with that. I know for certain people that does work, and there's whatever we had to do to get that post traumatic stress to change the post-traumatic growth is what our end goal is to do, and the results are just fantastic. And really with Hooves, what I would also say is it's been my experience, it takes literally a small army to make that run. It's really kind of a grassroots campaign. We've been around long enough that we've got some great stability. We've got the beautiful property with the 35 acres. I think we have 31 rescue horses and a lot of other farm animals out there. And it's just, as Scott points out, it's such a great experience to come out. For those of you that are listening, if you love and support veterans, I think one of the best things that you could do is just come out and see like what we have. And once you get on the farm, you really get the chance to experience some of the things that we do. The website address is HOOVES, that's HOOVES.US. And if you click on the events tab, it'll highlight some of the events that we have. I was actually teaching class last night over at Bowling Green State University. I was teaching a baby boomers class, and actually one of the guys came up and he said, "Hooves, oh my gosh," because I just started volunteering there. So we have different volunteering opportunities, and Amanda's husband, Justin, helps out a lot with that. He said he walked up to Justin and he thought, there was going to be a regimented thing of here's the stuff that you have to do. And Justin said, hey, if you like using the chainsaw, here's the chainsaw. We need some of this stuff chopped up. So, whether it's, working with some of the animals or keeping the property cleaned up or doing a lot of the different projects, we do that. Something else that we have actively been involved in is working with the Boy Scouts of America. Again, I have an Eagle Scout, and I have another son who's also still in Scouts. We have quite a few Scouts that want to come out and do service work at our facility. And we have Scouts that are also looking to do their Eagle project. So if you're considering what type of Eagle project, I'd love to have a conversation with you, show you some of the ideas. I know one of the projects that we enhanced was a campsite with Chase and building that section. And now Chase serves in the United States Marine Corps. He's down south serving our country today. We have another scout that's working on his Eagle Scout project with going to be building some lean-tos. We have another scout that's going to be working on creating some fencing for an area that we have in our garden. And we also had then another Eagle Scout project that put a flag out front, so making that property beautiful when you drive by. So you can get involved personally through volunteering. You can also get involved by coming out to some of the things that we do. So we do events that are what we would refer to as Mini Monday. We also have events that are called Lunch and Learns. And then we also have a couple of events that are mixers. And then after the 4-day retreat, we also have a graduation ceremony that we do for the veterans that go through the program that week. So again, hooves.us, you can jump on there, click on the events tab, and find out about some of the different events that we have coming up. One of the other big ones that we wanted to promote for you, too, is that Ruck for the Fallen. So you can get those details, again, online. We'd love to have you come out and be involved. Anything you'd want to talk about when you're thinking about different events that are coming up and, other ways that people should get involved with Hooves?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I think one of the things that's really important for our listeners to know, if you're a veteran interested in this program, these services are always provided at no cost to the veteran. So no veteran ever have or ever will pay for these services. We are primarily a privately funded organization, which means for the last 10 years we have existed because of the generosity of our amazing community members and our volunteer staff that love our veterans and love our country. So those are two things that we are really extremely thankful to be able to do and to have. And then if maybe you aren't in close proximity, but you still want to help and get involved, what we actually have going on this year is called the Warrior Challenge. And so our costs are $2,200 per veteran to send them through this 4-day all-inclusive retreat and then mentor them for 1 year. And so what we've done on our website is we've actually created a crowdfunding campaign where all you have to do is go on the website and register, and we give you all the tools to be able to raise your own funds to put one veteran through our retreat. So it's $2,200, and you get a link. You can post it on your social media. You can send it out if you have staff, if you have employees. But we just need a group of individuals to come together, and that money absolutely saves a life. And one of the things that I have with me today actually is a bracelet that I wear quite often, and on this bracelet is a bullet, and this bracelet was made for me by a Hooves alumni, and this was actually the bullet that he had in his gun that he was going to use to take his life when his wife found Hooves. So this is really, really powerful. And so we've developed the Warrior Challenge so that people who do want to help, who are not in close proximity, or even if you are, and you want to help save the life of a veteran, we've made it really easy for you to do. And one of the things we say often is many hands make light work. So if that's something that your company would like to do, or you as a community member would like to do, upon the completion of the Warrior Challenge, when you get to the $2,200, you actually receive a challenge coin. And in the military, coins are a really big deal to us. Anytime you do something exemplary, you're coined. So you receive a coin and you receive a plaque. And you also have the opportunity to come out and meet the veteran whose life you saved at our retreat graduation. So it's a really powerful way to get involved. It does save a life. It impacts our organization greatly. And it's fun, and it helps you get your friends or your community or your workplace involved. So if you want more information, please feel free to reach out, send us an email, and we can get that to you.
Yeah, again, got the links to hooves.us. You can get that information there. Reach out to us, send us an email. But Scott, you were going to say something?
Yeah. So, Amanda, one of the things that I thought was really, really powerful, and it helped me because I knew I was helping someone else. I'm a talker. Everybody knows I'm a talker, right? But I went around and I talked to some of the veterans you had there that were helping us. I remember we made a pen on a lathe and that, and I think it was one of the first events you guys had because you had to go out and get all of the lathes and put them together. And I stood there talking with the guys and going, just have a casual conversation, and I could see they came to life. I could see that, and that really impacted me. The horses were awesome, and the whole facility is amazing. But talking to some of the veterans that were going through the program, just to hear their stories a little bit was pretty powerful. So, you may not think you can make a difference, but believe me, you can, and it may be a twofold difference. You may not realize that something's eating at you personally, whether you're a veteran or not, and helping and reaching out gives you a sense of satisfaction and gratitude to help other people. So that's the one thing that I just wanted to add, because you could tell that the guys really lit up and they were more than willing to talk, and I know that helped them as well.
Absolutely, and that's a great point. Thank you so much for bringing that up. Another thing we say out at the farm is the second step of healing is serving. So after people do complete their 1 year of mentorship, if they have a gift that they'd like to share with the community, we're also kind of like an incubator for them to be able to give back. And so like this week, we're working with the children from the YMCA. So they've come out 3 days this week. And I have Kelly, who's an alumni, and then Six, who's also an alumni. And they are running the youth program for that. I know we also potentially have the Anthony Wayne hockey team coming out.
Sure.
So we have all these opportunities to reach the community, and we love to empower the veterans to do that, because you're right, it does. It lights them up, and finding purpose and serving is just such a big part of our process that anytime you attend something at our farm, you are absolutely helping in that secondary way, for sure.
Here's a question I have. I'm sure you are, there are several other organizations out there that help troubled kids and adults, and I personally don't think there's near enough to help with mental illness and all of the pains and sufferings that happen with that. But do you communicate with other organizations? Let me give you an example. Let's say that I know of a young boy or girl that's really struggling. I know you, I know your organization. I could reach out to you and say, hey, Amanda, I've got this young 16-year-old that's really struggling with some issues. Where should I go to help him? Do you deal with any other organizations like that where you would refer people to?
Yes, absolutely. We are so collaborative, and we love any opportunity that we can get to partner with another organization. It enhances our footprint, their footprint, the ripple effect. So I will collaborate or partner with anyone in the community. And that's a big part of it too. Maybe somebody comes through the retreat and they like the horses, but maybe they're really impassioned to work with children. Maybe if volunteering at Hooves isn't the best fit for them, we can send them to the Boys and Girls Club or Partners in Education or Leadership Toledo. So we're always looking for resources to channel people to, so that we can spread that footprint.
Awesome.
A couple things, again, I would point out. To me personally, the farm is my happy place. So you really can't see what we have until you come out and experience Hooves firsthand. We do have some upcoming events that we'd love to have you come out. And again, if you go to hooves.us, click on events, those are the different dates on events that we have coming out to check a couple of things out. There's no small impact that you can make. Everything that you can do makes a big impact along the way. So the statistic is still terrible. It's 22 veterans a day are committing suicide. And, we together can help try and stop that as best as possible. If we all, again, as a community, band together to help out and thank those who served us. as simple as $22 to make a donation to buy one of the raffle tickets. And hey, maybe you get lucky. There's some great raffle items. We've got quite a few different weapons that we'll be auctioning off in our Save the 22 raffle. So again, $22 for a raffle ticket. I also would point out that the overwhelming lion's share of the money that supports Hooves is by local businesses and families and individuals. And I think that's one of the things that makes our organization fairly unique. But I would still love to give a shout out to the Lucas County Veteran Service Organization and thank them specifically for their support in helping us out. Recently, through their donation, we were able to launch another program as part of our Hooves, which is called the Miles of Freedom. Maybe if you have a minute, if you could touch on what that program's about.
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that we do in our retreats, as I mentioned at the end, was we ask people to create a new mission and vision and purpose for life. And so not only do we have these retreats for the veterans, but we have these retreats for spouses as well. And so my husband actually went through the spouses retreat last year as an alumni, but even when the alumni come back through, they're always doing the work. So at the end of his retreat, he wrote a mission and vision to have a cycling program that helps veterans overcome addiction, as my husband did. So, and one of the things we say too is it's a very short time from when these people create these missions and visions and doors open and all these serendipitous divine opportunities start. So he wrote this plan at the retreat, not even really thinking it would come true or, putting any merit into it. And 6 months later, he received a grant from the Lucas County Veteran Service Commission to launch his dream program. And so what it is it's adventure cycling. And the program actually starts this Thursday. And so he's taking 3 veterans through this program, and they're going to get together every week, and they're going to plan these adventure bike packing trips. And so they'll start with just weekly rides and then move up to weekend bike packing adventures. And they're actually going to end in September. They are going to ride from Pittsburgh to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
On the Allegheny Passage. And then they're going to end their finale trip with a tour around D.C. And they're going to hit the monuments in Arlington Cemetery and things like that. So really, really powerful. Bike packing is something that helped my husband in recovery. So he's been sober for 3 years now. And then his purpose or his second step of healing is to share this with other veterans who are also interested. And we have a couple of the HOOVES alumni have jumped into the program, and then we've got a couple of new people. So that's been really cool for him.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're watching again on our YouTube channel or Facebook, check out the links below. You can click on some of those links to make sure that you get involved. If you're listening to us on WSPD Radio, again, you could just jump online at hooves.us or make sure that you reach out to Amanda or myself. We'd be more than happy to get you plugged into all the great things that we have coming up. And it's going to be a busy season. Retreat season is officially here and upon us. So we're excited to help a lot more local and veterans from all over the U.S. this year.
Awesome.
Amanda, thanks so much for joining us again this week. America's Retirement Headquarters and HOOVES both committed to the 419. HOOVES obviously committed to the veterans, a very, very noble cause. To find out more, like they said, hooves.us is the website, and americasretirementheadquarters.com is the website if you have questions or concerns concerning your retirement. I want to thank you so much for joining us this week here on America's Retirement Headquarters. Once again, the number 419-794-3030. Please have a great week. Have a safe week out there. And as we wind down, guys, I want to leave you with the final word.
Yeah, just to enjoy it and make sure you get ready for Memorial Day weekend. And we'd love to have you spend a little bit of time with us at Rockford of Fallen. So come on out. And in the meantime, have a great week. We look forward to seeing everybody back next week.